This is Russell with Russell Does Stuff. I work 6 hours on Monday, 6 hours on Tuesday, and whenever I don't get done, I'll work on Wednesday. I have to do a few things on Wednesday because one of my mowers, the hammer switch, toggle switch for the PTO broke. Ordered one on Amazon, and it showed up for a different model, which is probably my mistake, but I took a chance on the part being right. So Exmark, Toro are the same mowers. Sometimes for the life of you can't find parts for stuff. If you're trying to save money, you're gonna do what I do. I research the parts, and then I always want to get free shipping and then free returns. We're human, so we're not perfect people, and we do make mistakes. But lucky I have that mower back that Brandon stole from me, so I can rob parts off of that and keep me going. So that's what I did. I robbed parts from Peter to pay Paul. I'm up with the chickens this morning, and we've had biblical weather the last week or so. It's interesting how we don't have any, I'm going this way, how we got some guy playing chicken with me here. How we have no rain, and then we have way too much rain. So it changes my routine up. You go from breathing dust to making mushy messes of things. That's all right. I'm an expert. I've been doing this a long time. When you get behind a little bit because of the weather, you try to keep everything looking neat, and you can cut a few corners if you want. You can do below level 1 service, or you can do level 1 service, which is mow, blow, and go. And most of the customers I have are not home, and I try to do a good job every other week. Every other week is a hard week. Every other week is an easy week. So last week was a hard week, so this week's going to be an easy week. So that's 8-minute properties. You're in, you're out. You're lucky you don't have to talk to a customer or something. You can make good time. So I'm going to head to a property that I've had for 8 or 9 years that was flooded in the 2 hurricanes that we had last summer. The customer is elderly, and she wanted to move, closer to her kids and put the house up for sale. She had some people interested in buying her house, and then it got hit by a hurricane. So she didn't sell her house. It's been sitting. This lady has been a very interesting customer. She likes the very minimal done. I'm shocked she even wants me to cut the grass. She doesn't want to harm anything. I had an employee working with me, and we'd pull up, and he'd go, "Don't hurt the grass. Don't hurt the grass." She'd write me long letters. You got too close to one of my trees with your big mower. Would you please stay away from the trees, please? And I'm programmed to like make houses look like magazine covers, you know. And it was hard to roll back that thinking and just do the bare minimum, you know. But that's what made her happy. She's on the other end of the spectrum. I'm used to dealing with people that will call you up, text you, email you, you know, and complain about their mansions. You know, you missed a spot in the backyard. Can you cut it a little lower next time, or can you cut it a little higher next time? In this business, you go up and down with your deck according to, you know, what's going on, you know. So we're getting a lot of rain. The grass has a lot of moisture in it. It's growing pretty quick. So I'm going to cut a little higher. And then in the wintertime, I cut a little lower. It looks good in between the every other week service. If you buy accounts from somebody, make sure they put the deck height of the customer's lawns that you're doing. That helps out a little bit. But I've been doing this so long, I can tell what customers like and what customers don't like. I've been doing this for a long time, and sometimes, you know, I reminisce about some of the customers that I used to work for and some of the things that I've done for money in this business. I had, you know, over 130 some accounts, maybe 140 accounts at one time. You know, I always tell people, you know, average your account out to around $100 times however many you got is just an easy way of keeping track of everything, you know. Some of my accounts are like 12 accounts in one account, you know. It's real easy to figure out your numbers if you do it that way. I tell people that if they're interested in getting into this type of a service business and they like mailbox money, they like people writing you a check every day, all week long, all month long, you're probably going to need about 45 accounts to get started. And you can buy these accounts on the internet. You know, you can pick up 20 here, 20 there, 10 here, you know. You apply some of my strategies, you know, you can get that amount of accounts very quickly. It's very easy to get out there and be your own boss, you know. When this season first started, you know, I wasn't in shape for this kind of work. It took me about a week to snap back into old hard-working Russ. It's kind of a trap too, because you can make really good money. Okay, that's why I'm still working. I want to work, and then the money's still good. You know, I'll add up what I'm making a month here, working 12, 13, 14, 15, you know, less than 15 hours a week. And you'll go, oh, that's why he still does it, you know. The output isn't very taxing, and the input is very good. That's why I hired that Brandon kid. I was hoping, you know, he would take over these 15 hours a week for me. If you're going to have employees, make sure you find and get the right ones. Keep the good ones good and try to make the bad ones good. You keep the good ones from going bad and try to make the bad ones good. That's the saying. So I'm trying to have an easy peasy Tuesday, and we'll see what happens. Murphy's always riding around with me, so you never know what might happen. All the people that come down here, the seasonal people, are pretty much gone. The heat drives them away, and we're having a real early heat wave. I'm not sure, every year these people were staying a little bit longer and a little bit longer and a little bit longer. But I don't think that's the case this year. I think all the hurricanes we've had in the last 3.5 years or so, it really, drove away a lot of these folks. Normally, like April 30th, after Easter, everybody leaves. Around April 30th or after Easter, everybody leaves. But they've been staying over the last 10 years up until June. So I'm used to people leaving in April. And these people are staying here a lot longer, and they're not used to our rain and our weather and stuff. So I try not to let it bother me. Most of the properties I have to myself. I don't talk to my customers that I have. I don't even know some of them. I work for people I've never met. I work for people I've never had a conversation with. And then I have a handful of people that I will say hi to and stuff. Like the last account that I went to, he flew down to, have a new air conditioner installed in his house. And I will chat with him. I'll shock him with my brilliant memory and bring up the last conversation that we had. That customer's having trouble with his hands. I asked him how his son was doing and if he was still smoking cigarettes or not. So, well, I'm about to pull up to my hurricane damaged property, and we'll see what kind of shape it's in. Hopefully it's doesn't look too bad. I haven't been here in a few weeks, so I don't think it's going to get sold anytime soon, but you never know. Sometimes you pull up and there's the new owners are standing out front. I'm not going to keep this account when it sells. I'm going to move on into greener pastures. Well, this is Russ with a morning conversation, and appreciate every single one of you. And I did a 1-month video on how my YouTube experience is going, and maybe that'll help some of you guys out, or maybe you can glean something from my experiences. But this is Russell, and I'm going to get back to working and catch you on the next one.